So let's rewrite this code with the potential for an endless loop using a for next statement, and then we can illustrate where the various different controlling bits of program code are. At the moment, the initialization step is here. Our conditional check is on that line. We then need an incrementing step on that line, and then we've got the end of the loop there. So we've got 4 separate lines of code where controlling statements can be. If we use a for next loop, we could say for count equals 1 to endpoint, and then we tell it that we want to go up in steps of 1. If we omit the keyword step, then it will simply count up in 1. We can then output our print statement, so we'll do exactly the same thing as before, and then we simply have next count, and that increments the count value. So I will leave the other code there for now and just comment it out, and if we run this program, we should see that it produces our times table. So our initialization statement is here, so we can actually remove it from up there. Our conditional check is here, the endpoint, so we're saying for count equals 1 through to endpoint. We don't even have to bother thinking about the incremental step, it's all part of this same for loop. And then the next is down at the bottom, and that's literally how easy it is. So much simpler, much easier to control than a while do loop, and very little chance of you making the same sort of errors of getting into an infinite loop as you would with a while do. In fact, the only way to get into an infinite loop with this would be to, each time the loop goes through, would be to reset count, for example. So you would have to do the opposite of a while do. You would have to make it become an endless loop rather than the default operation being a likely endless loop that you've got to prevent by putting in an incremental statement. So if you've got a situation where you would need to count or execute the loop a known number of times, then the for next loop is the ideal control structure to use.